All right. Now, I have to point something out. I don't know how many people remember, but I said that I thought Andrea Lee would pull out of this fight. I'm going to go ahead and give her credit for going through with the fight. Okay, I'm going to assume that she won't pull out because she still can pull out. You can pull out at any moment. Anything can happen. But I'm going to assume that she's going through with the fight. Now, the reason I said she probably ducked is because Silva is unranked. Andrea Lee is ranked. She's a ranked fighter. So she's going to have to defend her spot. And a lot of fighters, they try to protect their ranking by pulling out and hoping for a higher ranked opponent in their next fight. But currently, Andrea Lee is number 13. That's a pretty comfortable spot. Closer to, well, not closer. Well, closer to top 10, or just as close. So, yeah, it's risky. Silva's unranked. If she loses, she could risk having to move beneath Jasmine. A lot of fighters don't want to risk that. And it seems like a sort of a mismatch. I believe Andrea Lee has good power early, especially early in fights. And sometimes in the second round. Like one of those fights, she showed good stamina. I think it was against Cynthia Calvillo. She showed good stamina, I think, against Calvillo. So she could hurt and stop. I think she could stop Silva. She could stop most girls. And if she can hit them flush in the right spot, yeah, I think she got good power. But Silva's good at avoiding shots. She's very elusive. Silva, one of the big things about her is her defense. Her defense, I think, is above average. Now, she can still get caught. And she has in her career. She can still get caught. But since she's gone to 125, her defense looks better. Like her upper body movement, her ability to avoid shots using upper body movement looks better than it used to be back when she was at 115. And that gives her a bit of an advantage against Lee, who's more upright. Lee is a lot more upright. She's not as fluid as Silva. Silva's real crisp and precise. Now, Lee is a good striker. I think it's a good fight. Put it like this. I'll be surprised if Silva walks straight through Andrea Lee. Because as of right now, I got more respect for Lee than that. Than to say that she about to get mollywopped. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that's likely or unlikely. That's very unlikely. And I think it's, now I don't know which fighter might be challenged more. Either of them could be challenged, I think. Which is why I think this is an epic card. It's an epic card. Because I feel like either fighter can win in either fight. Now, Karine Silva, I just think, is a lot better than she was when she first fought Moroz. That was many years ago. You know, they're pretty much different fighters now. I'm taking Karine Silva. Now, Moroz is still a decent fighter. She can win. I think she's got a decent power. It's not too crazy. But she can win by submission. She can lose by submission too. And that's the thing. That is the thing. Oh, another thing. Now, I think they have the same shoes on. Yeah. Yeah. Now, unless one of them wearing lifts. Okay, they got the same shoes on. I thought Lee was taller than that. I thought Lee would be taller, would have a height advantage. I'm about to look that up. Wait a minute. I could have swore she better not have a height advantage. She better not. I better not see. I better not see a height advantage. Okay, Andrea Lee is 5'7". Okay. She better be 5'7". Okay. Okay, where is it? She has no Wikipedia. 5'5". Allegedly, Natalia Silva is 5'5", and Andrea Lee is allegedly 5'7". Now, Sherdog has her listed at 5'6", Andrea Lee. And Wikipedia has Andrea Lee listed at 5'7". They look more like the same height, especially when you look at the level of their chins and shoulders. You know, she might be taller. You take that hat off. It looks more maybe like an inch. So I don't know about that, man. I'm rolling with Silva. I'm rolling with Silva, both Silvas. And I thought Lemos would look bigger than Weili, but she doesn't. She really doesn't. She don't really look taller or bigger, or more robust. Right? Now the problem, because the Weili fans, they understand that I'm picking Lemos. And listen, I could easily be wrong. Weili is crazy. That's a crazy little lady. But they're both crazy. They're both crazy now. And they're both like in their prime. Like they're in their peak. This is the best version of them. Okay? Now they're both dangerous. We all know they can both get hurt. But Lemos is a good counter striker. And I think that's going to give Weili some problems. I suspect the counter striking is going to give Weili some problems. I suspect. I just don't trust that. Do y'all know the fight against Marina Rodriguez was primarily won on counter strikes? I made a video talking about that. Marina could not deal with Lemos counter striking. She just couldn't. I think all of the real big shots that Rodriguez absorbed was a counter. It was after Rodriguez had launched an attack herself. So as soon as she fought a prolific counter striker, Marina Rodriguez basically fell apart. That happens, people. That happened to Errol Spence. Let's have church up in here this evening. That happened to Errol Spence Jr. That fight was primarily won by Terrence Crawford based on counter striking. Spence never really dealt with that level of counter striker. Somebody who throws short, quick, little sneaky counters where there's no wind up, there's no twist up, they're real tight. Any type of counter you can imagine, Terrence Crawford throws and threw. Counter hooks, counter uppercuts, counter jabs, counter this. A lot of fighters fall apart. They can't deal with counter strikers like that. Now, Weili can counter strike, but she hasn't really been up against a really good counter striker. And Carla has harmless offense as a striker. And I think so does Joanna. Their offense is kind of harmless. But when Weili fights a strong striker with decent striking skills, she usually, she gets hit. I mean, she got hit against Joanna, but Joanna, do you imagine if Joanna hit as hard as Lemos and had the fight she had against Joanna in the first fight? And I think Lemos got slightly better defense. That's deep. When the fighter is more of a counter striker or is a really good counter striker and they got better defense, that might be exactly what they need. That might be too much for their opponent. Now, Weili can counter strike, and she has good counter striking skills herself. Weili is going to counter, I think, Lemos as well. Like, Weili has good counters with her jab. She's real good with counters with her jab. And she can counter just in general. She says, I don't think is prolific. I don't think covers as much distance, uses her body to extend her reach the way Lemos does. But hey, I could be wrong. This should look like a very crazy fight. Now, Weili gave an interview. She said a lot. They both said a lot in that presser. And Weili said something about, she said, I can flow like Bruce Lee. I can be like water. And I can learn from my opponent. And I can flow. I can flow and wrap her up if she make a mistake. I believe Weili said that because she believes that's how Lemos fights. That Lemos that she has a nice flow. I think that was Weili's way of acknowledging that she's a counter striker. A lot of Lemos' physical or athleticism is in her counter striking ability. And those counter strikers, that's a common nickname for them. They're adaptive. They're really adaptive counter strikers. They know their opponent very well. When you watch that fight against Rodriguez, you could tell they trained to counter Rodriguez. You could tell that Lemos is just waiting for certain shots to counter. So when you know your opponent that well, you counter on them, you look good in there. You look very good in there, performance-wise. From an aesthetic standpoint, performance standpoint, it's like, wow. It makes you look impressive when you can make your opponent miss and then hit them. Especially if you're starting to hurt them after you make them miss and hit them. Or if you make them miss and hit them with a combination. And Lemos throws counters in combinations a lot. She's very dangerous. But Lemos can get knocked out. She can get knocked out. Now, I'm not sure. She seems very athletic. But if you struggle at all to make weight and you drain yourself significantly, you do become easier to knock out. You would be easier to knock out at that point than you would have been had you not drained yourself at all. So with all those types of factors, I think both fighters could get knocked out. Weili cuts, I don't think much. I don't think Weili cuts much, but she cuts some weight. She cuts some water. I don't know how hard their cut is, but I think either of them can get knocked out or at least hurt in TKO, stopped by TKO, or even knockout. They throw a kick, especially, they can knock each other out. Either one. Either one can knock the other out. Lemos throw extremely hard kicks, man, no matter where they land. Head, body. She might throw one of those head kicks at Weili. Who knows? Maybe Weili's still vulnerable to head kicks. Lemos very athletic. She can throw anything I think that she needs to throw. I'm going to just take Lemos. I'm going to take Lemos. Weili does look confident. She looks ready. And if Weili is ready and she feels confident, she feels good, she has the skill set to make Lemos look bad. I believe. Like if Weili uses her athleticism properly, I think she has the skill set to dominate even Amanda Lemos. I do believe that. But she would have to be, I think, very defensively responsible. And I can't really say that I've seen that from Weili. Can't really say that I've seen that. If y'all remember, there was a moment she countered Carla in the second round. And it was a right hand. She countered her with a right hand after Carla herself threw a right hand. Weili can counter you. She has countering skills. I just don't know if she is as prolific at it as Lemos. Good at it. She might be better. Look, I don't know. But Lemos is dangerous, man. And I can see her hurt. I mean, Weili's been knocked out before. Knocked out. Rose has kicked some fighters who've taken it. How do we know that Rose didn't kick them any harder than she kicked Weili? Like I said, there's a lot we don't know. Weili might have somewhat of a glass chin. We don't know yet. That might prove to be the case. I don't know. Maybe even Lemos. I think Lemos can get hurt, even though we've never really seen her hurt. she seems to be pretty durable. Like she can really take a shot. Okay? But I don't count Weili out, man. I ain't stupid now. I think Weili can beat anybody in the division. Now, I've always said that. And I still say that. Just because I'm taking Lemos don't mean I'm anti-Weili at all. She's still dangerous. I mean, you just look at her work ethic. You got to respect Weili's work ethic. You know, you watch her, look at her social media. That's a respectable social media. The videos that she uploads, she clearly works hard. You know, trains every day. She might take a day off here, but she is always in that gym, man. And I think she's like part owner of that gym. She's part owner of that gym or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing. Lemos is used to fighting much bigger girls. She fought at 135 and she got power at 135. Lemos is used to hurting much bigger girls than Weili. But as far as I know, maybe so is Weili. You know, even if somebody would have told me that Weili actually lifted Francis Ngannou up off his feet and held him up, I would have a hard time believing that until I saw it, to be honest with you. I'd have a hard time believing it until I saw it. Now, she used a lot of technique in doing that, but it was impressive. She held him up there. It was an impressive show of strength. Not many people can pull that off. It's like a 300-pound man. So Weili got a lot of physical strength, but so does Lemos. Now, any fighter can get submitted, most definitely. I think we know that. Now, here's the thing. I think any one of them could try to take the other fighter down. I saw an article where this guy, oh, wait a minute. I saw an article where this guy, I think he's a gambler or something. I'm about to find it right now because I know I saved it. He's picking Lemos. Yeah, he's like a gambler or something, or at least an advisor. I'm about to share it now. Here it is right here. Lemos against Zhang. Lemos given a 76% chance to beat Weili. Now, they have Weili as the favorite, minus 345. Okay. Plus 260 underdog is Lemos. And they're saying that it's a lot more even than this. It's much more of an even fight than this. And that's what I think. So, yeah, gamblers, you better sprinkle something on Lemos. I think she got much more of a chance to win this fight than that. So it's not unheard of for people to actually pick Lemos to win this fight. And it's actually even more reliable, noteworthy that a gambling site is taking Lemos, or at least a place where they give gambling advice. So yeah, I feel like I'm taking a risk. I've always taken Weili in fights. This is the first time I've picked against Weili. Weili has never disappointed me. And that's the thing. I've never been wrong picking Weili. I've been wrong picking Amanda Lemos against Andrade. Now, even though I'd pick Lemos if they had a rematch, got that fight wrong. Okay? So, Yeah, kind of a risk, at least for me. My little reputation that I have here, putting it all on the line right now, taking a chance, going against Weili. I might pay the price. If so, I don't care. Long as it's a good fight, which is what I expect from all three fights. Should be a crazy card. Crazy line of fights. Silva, this rematch here, that's good stuff. Good stuff. Morrow's beat her, I guess her only loss. And that was like 7-8 years ago or something like that. They're about to have a rematch at a time where Morrow's, she's coming off a win, I think. But she's not looking as good as Silva. She's not on that type of run. She sort of got exposed by Jennifer Maia as a striker. So that was rough. And, she probably showed or revealed too many weaknesses in that fight against Jennifer Maia. Maia was just outclassing her in terms of striking. So we'll see what happened with that. She better be careful, too. Silva hit a lot harder than Jennifer Maia, I think. Same with Andrea Lee. Lee hits hard, but Silva hits hard. She's sitting girls down. She sat her friend down. I think that's a big reason why they're having this fight.
They say an officer used his gun to put down a pit.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Sorry about that. Yeah, Natalia Silva beat up Andrea Lee, I guess training partner or teammate. She was working with Victoria Leonardo before her fight against Natalia Silva. She beat her up real bad, stopped her in the first round. I think that's a big reason why they're having this fight. They figure it makes sense, but I expect Lee to be cautious and to try to be tactical, to try Silva on her feet. But Lee might try to get a takedown. She might not want to strike with Natalia Silva. I could see her trying to press her against the fence and maybe go for a takedown or something like that. I could see Andrea Lee trying that. And who knows, she might pull it off. She might pull it off. But that's another fight where they've been fighting for a long time. Those two. All of them. Been fighting for quite a while. They're all pretty seasoned. Like, this is a above average talent on a card. The female fights as a whole, in general. Above average, where I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't want to say too much. Make myself really look bad before these fights go down here. Haven't seen these other fights yet. I have to watch those. Won't be able to comment on that until I do that. But I'm looking forward to this card tonight. Yeah. Pick Joanna against Weili. I picked Joanna against Weili in the second fight. I did? Oh, I probably did. Yeah. So, maybe I was wrong about Weili. Maybe I haven't picked her. I did pick her. Yeah, picked against her. Yeah, I got that one wrong. Oh, and I was happy about that. I made a video right after it happened. Yeah, I do remember that. I'm like, man, because it was a stoppage, crazy stoppage, historic stoppage. It's probably 20 pounds heavier. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't expect any of these fights to stink up the card. I expect to get my money's worth. Fingers crossed. Let's hope that happens. And I will see y'all after the card.